Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's Gear204 here bringing you another Minecraft World War II tutorial. In this tutorial, we'll be going ahead and building the Krupp K5E. The Krupp K5 was a heavy railway gun used by Germany throughout World War II. The Krupp's K5 series were consistent in mounting a 21.5 meter or 71 foot long gun barrel and a fixed mounting with only vertical elevation of the weapon. The gun was then mounted to a pair of 12-wheel bogies designed to be operated on commercial and military rails built to German standards. This mounting permitted only 2 degrees of horizontal traverse. The carriage had to be aligned on the rail first, with only minimal fine leveling capable once halted. Hence, the gun could only fire at targets tangential to an existing railway track. They would have to use curved tracks and other various little tricks, some things also known as a Vogel turntable, which were basically a 360-degree turn or set of tracks that the gun could actually move on to actually aim the gun. So kind of some crazy stuff there for it. The gun was a 283mm or 11.1 inch gun. These were used extensively in France, Rome, or Italy, and also on the Eastern Front against the Soviets. The version we have in front of you here is designed and based off of Leopold. Leopold was one of the guns that was actually retrieved actually preserved in the United States Army Ordnance Museum in Fort Lee, Petersburg, Virginia. Leopold was shipped to the United States Albertine Proving Grounds, where it underwent tests and evaluations. In early 2011, it was moved to Fort Lee, Virginia as a result of a 2005 Base Relocation and Closure Act. The guns were discovered on a railroad siding in the town of Shidovitsky on June 7, 1944, shortly after the Allies had liberated Rome. Robert had been partially destroyed by the gun crew before they surrendered, and Leopold was also damaged, but not as badly. So, yeah, basically Leopold was rebuilt using a lot of the parts from Robert, but they tried to sabotage the guns before they fled, and Leopold here is the one that you can actually see and still preserved to this day. It's a really cool piece of equipment. I love railway guns. I think they're super cool and super interesting. Definitely something I feel it's very outdated for World War II and what its purpose served, but I still think it's a really cool piece of history and piece of equipment. And compared to the Gustav, this here is definitely a baby in comparison, but still quite an intimidating gun. Now, with that, we'll go ahead and dive in here, taking a look at Leopold and see exactly what we have going on here in this tutorial. This tutorial for this version just has the gun facing horizontal. You could modify this to make it angled. However, it's going to be quite a bit of work, so I just went ahead and did it straight on like that. But again, you can angle this barrel if you wanted to. We have our bogey cars on the bottom here. So you can see we have our front bogey car and then the rear one back here. Pretty straightforward stuff. And then you have the main gun carriage, where the gun's mounted. Obviously, we have the right on the side here, Leopold. All these guns did have some kind of name. So some of the two notable ones are Leopold and Robert, which were recovered. But there are also some other ones that were named, and some of them that are just lost to history. So pretty cool stuff there. But then on the back here we have the ammunition storage, or ready rack, I like to think it is. It could store ammunition cells for quick deploying. So you have a crane here. You have your cart that could push the shells up here to be loaded in, and then it has like a little cradle that would swing over and help push the shells into the breech. Both sides are pretty much the same. Really not too much difference in symmetry between the two. And down inside the gun here, we do have a lot of detail as well. I tried to actually get pretty crazy with it. I tried to really replicate the interior as much as I possibly could, using some models and stuff like that there are of the guns. But I think it came out pretty good. It's obviously a little messy to look at from being inside here, but most of this design and stuff like that is pretty accurate, I think, to at least what the models display, which I assume is fairly accurate to what this build or what's actually inside there. Anyways, though, that is going to pretty much sum up what we have here for the gun overall. And with that, we'll be going ahead and moving into the tutorial of the gun by going ahead and starting with our bogey carts. Alrighty, guys, so with that all out of the way and the beginning intro, we're going to go ahead and jump into our second ever railway gun tutorial. Now, what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be going ahead and building this in a half on, half off scheme. So if you are very familiar with my larger tutorials, I like to do this just to kind of help save some time. And since this gun is completely symmetrical, whatever we do on one side will be done on the other, so it makes things a lot easier for us going forward. But I just want to go ahead and take some time now to talk about this tutorial and everything you need to do to make sure you have your gun set up and good to go. In my Gustav tutorial, a lot of people asked about the track length minimum that you will need to fit this gun. For the track length minimum I have 75 blocks long of track. So that is the very bare minimum that I would recommend to have this gun sitting on, and this provides you with 2 extra blocks on each side of the gun. So technically the very minimum would be 71. But that is how much space you'll need, and you'll need a straight space that long for the gun to fit on. Again, you know, you may make that longer, but I would probably recommend 75 to be the shortest length you make the track for display purposes. For my track design, you can see in particular here, I actually went ahead and did a gravel base to it, and then I went ahead and used andesite slabs along the sides to kind of create that gravel raised kind of effect. You don't have to do that, but it's something I thought looked kind of cool and makes it look a little bit more realistic, I think. And then for my track design, it's super simple. You will again need to build this this track. It's very important to take the time now to build the track for the gun to actually sit on, but my track design is really simple. I went ahead and just did a row of 3 of spruce wood slabs, and then I went ahead and skipped a space on each side and I placed down another spruce slab, and in the middle spaces here I just went ahead and ran polished deep slate tile walls. So these are just run going down, and I have the spruce wood basically alternating every other block to represent the wood planks that go across there. So really simple stuff. That's really all you need to do for the tracks themselves, and once you have your track set up and good to go, we can go ahead and jump into the tutorial. Now for this tutorial, to start with, we're going to be going ahead and building our bogey cars. So we're going to be focusing solely on building up the bogey cars. We're not going to even worry about the gun at all. And then after we have our bogey cars complete and a good basis to kind of build off of, we're going to go ahead and jump into our gun tutorials, or our gun layers. So this first few layers here are going to be strictly focused in the bogey wheels themselves, or the bogey carts themselves. The part that's going to be making contact with the railway and have the cars, or the wheels. So with that, let's go ahead and dive into it. Now, if you went ahead and set up your track, you went ahead and you did 75 blocks in length here, assuming that you've done that already. We'll be going ahead and using that length as a basis to go ahead and get started here. We're going to go ahead and build 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and our 6th wall back from the end of our tracks here, we're going to go ahead and place down a polished andesite upside down stair. So that kind of again gives you an idea of how big the gun is and spacing. Again, feel free to look at the dimensions at the beginning of the video as well. So we have our polished andesite upside down stair, and then we have a second upside down stair behind it, followed by what's going to be a dark oak wood fence gate in the center here, opened up toward the middle. We're going to go then place down 2 more polished andesite upside down stairs, and then another 2 polished andesite upside down stairs with a dark oak wood fence gate across in between them. Now for these first 3 stairs here, or the sets of stairs, these are going to be our first 3 wheels, our front wheels. We're going to go and place down polished blackstone top slabs across between the second and front wheels. So it's going to be across these stairs here, and these stairs here like this. And then we're going to place down polished blackstone top slabs on the side of these polished andesite stairs. And we're going to go ahead and also take our dark oak wood, spruce wood trapdoors. We're going to place down 1, 2, 3, and 4 spruce wood trapdoors. We're going to skip a space and place down a row of 2 of spruce wood trapdoors. Now, after we have those spruce wood trapdoors placed, this last one here that's going to be on the front side of the gun, or the car, we're going to place down 2 blocks over. We're going to place down a dark oak wood fence gate, open this fence gate toward the rear like that, and then we're going to have an end rod in between the fence gates here in the middle, and obviously you'll have the same thing on the other side here once you copy that over. Cool. After that's done, we're going to go ahead and then set up our 3 other axles. So for this, we're going to place down another fence gate here in the middle, another 2 polished andesite upside down stairs, another fence gate in the middle, opened up toward the middle again, and then another polished andesite upside down stair set, and then another fence gate, and another 2 polished andesite upside down stairs. So it's going to be like that, again, alternating just like we did for the front. The only difference this time, though, is we're going to be going ahead and placing down these polished blackstone top slabs on this first stair from the front. So it's going to be leaning toward the front side rather than the rear side. And again, we're just going to have our rows of 3 of polished blackstone top slabs across to form up the axles. Again, we're going to go ahead and go to the side of the polished blackstone stairs, or the side of the polished andesite stairs. We're going to place down polished blackstone top slabs. And then we want to place down a dark oak wood fence gate on coming off the front of this stair, open it toward the back, and we're going to go ahead and place down a wither skeleton skull coming off that fence gate. And that is going to complete everything we have there for the cart. At this point in time, I'd recommend taking the right side and flipping it over to the left side, so this is what you have for the top-down view with the cart all complete. Now, I'll give you guys some time here if you need to pause the video now, but you will want to make sure that you have both sides copied over at this point of the tutorial. So go ahead and take the time needed to copy the right side over to the left side and have your first car complete. Now, once you have your first car complete, we're going to go ahead and now be setting up the second car. The second car here is going to be going off this last axle. So this is the rear side here with our fence gates with the wither skeleton skulls. This is the back side of the railway car. We're going to go ahead and go off the center, polished blackstone top slab, and we're going to go ahead and build back a column of 3. Now we're going to be, column of 33. We're going to be deleting this later so you can use whatever blocks you want, but this is going to be a total of 33 blocks back. So again, from that slab there, that first block of yellow wool, counting back, we have 1, 2, 3, so on. We have 30, 31, 32, and this is our 33rd block right here. We're going to go ahead then and place down a polished blackstone top slab, a second top slab to the side, and again our polished andesite up downstairs, and we're going to set up the same design that we did for the front car, this time just on the bottom. So again, we're going to go ahead and just set this up the same way we did before, and it's just going to be a reflection of what we did in the front. So I'm going to build this car a little bit faster, as it's the same thing, but again, you can refer to the forward cart if you want. Again, you can see our fence gates with the wither skeleton skulls are pointing toward this car, so this is going to be a reflection of that. You can see the spruce wood trapdoors on the rear end like that. We're going to place down another fence gate here. Again, we have our upside down stairs, another fence gate, our upside down stairs, fence gate, upside down stairs, fence gate, and our 2 upside down stairs like that. And then after that's done, we're going to go and take our spruce wood first our polished blackstone top slabs, place them to the sides here of these stairs, and again in between these stairs like we did for the front with our rows of 3. Again, we want to make sure that we have them set up like this for the axles, and also I forgot this wheel back here. Then after we have that done, we're going to go ahead and put in our spruce wood trapdoors. So we have 1, 2, we have 3, 4, and then right here we have 1 and 2. Just like that. Then after that's done, we're going to go ahead and go off this trapdoor. We're going to build 1 and 2 blocks over. We're going to place down a fence gate. Again, open this up toward the front of the car, or toward the back there if you want to refer to it like that, and then an end rod in between those fence gates like so. So basically, now once we have that copied over, we're going to take the same thing and copy it over to the other side for this rear cart, and that is going to complete our 2 carts here for layer number 1. Here is a top-down view of what that should look like once you have both sides done. Really simple stuff. This is probably one of the most difficult layers because there is a lot that can go wrong. Everything from this layer is going to be built upon to create the following layers, so it's very important right now you take the extra steps. Just make sure everything is good to go. Just double check your counts, your dimensions, all that stuff. Just make sure everything is good to go, because if you make one mistake here, it could mess up a lot of the build for you later. So with that all done, that is going to complete everything we have for layer number 1 of the cars, and with that, we'll be going ahead and moving into layer number 2. Alright guys, moving into our next layer, we have layer 2. For layer 2 to get started with here, we'll be going ahead and going to the top of this end rod right here up on this forward car. We're going to place down a polished blackstone top slab above it, so it's just going to be right above it like so. We're going to place down a wither skeleton skull coming off that top slab going forward, so away from the car that way. And then we're going to go and follow this up by placing down a row of polished blackstone top slabs behind that slab for a total of 19 back, so a total overall of 20. This should end right here in the same kind of row as these fence gates here. We're going to go ahead and go to the side of this row, and we're going to place down a row of polished blackstone top slabs, again all the way along the side here, except we're going to stop 1 less from the front, so this would be a total of 19. And we're just going to place down a fence gate here, opened up toward the slab next to this top slab. We then want to go ahead and place down a polished blackstone upside down stair, so it's going to be positioned like this. And then we're going to go ahead and place down a gray shulker box coming off that wall, and then a dark oak wood fence gate, and then we're going to place down a dark oak wood trapdoor and close that trapdoor like that. After that's done, behind this, we're going to go ahead and place down 2 blocks of netherite, then a polished blackstone top slab, 2 blocks of netherite, polished blackstone top slab, 2 blocks of netherite, a polished blackstone top slab, 2 blocks of netherite, polished blackstone top slab, 2 blocks of netherite, polished blackstone top slab, and 2 blocks of netherite, and then 1 more polished blackstone top slab on the end there. Actually, sorry, my bad. It's going to be a polished blackstone upside down stair on the end, right above that fence gate like that. After that's all done, we're going to go ahead and then grab ourselves some polished deep slate walls. We're going to place down 2 walls, but coming off those blocks of netherite, and we're going to go ahead and then place down a dark oak fence gate in the space in between them. So we're just going to go ahead and again place down our 2 walls, fence gate, 2 walls, fence gate, 2 walls, fence gate, 2 walls, fence gate, and 2 walls, and a fence gate. This fence gate here is going to be opened up toward the stair itself, and then coming off that fence gate, we're going to place down a polished blackstone wall right here next to that shulker box. After that's done, we're going to take our levers, and we're going to place down levers on these spruce wood trapdoors here, and then we're going to go ahead and grab some light gray stained glass panes and place them here, coming off these, or on the 2 side trapdoors in that row of 4. And that is going to complete what we have there for our car design for the front. Again, you're going to take what we did on the right side in that center line and flip it over across the other side. So this is what it should look like for this forward car. Moving to our rear car, it's going to be the same exact thing, but it's going to obviously be flipped here. So we're going to go ahead and go to the back, and on top of this right here, this end rod, we're going to have our top slab and our wither skeleton skull coming off of it. We're going to go and go back from the top slab, again a total of 19, all the way back down the center like so. We're going to go ahead and then place down a row of 19 of polished blackstone top slabs to the side of that. And then we're going to place down a upside down polished blackstone stair here with a gray shulker box, dark oak wood fence gate, and then a dark oak wood trapdoor coming off the fence gate like this and close it. And then we're going to place down fence gates here in the corner, or in the space between the shulker box and that top slab, opened up again toward the front. After that's done, we're going to place down a polished blackstone wall to the side here, then a dark oak wood fence gate, open it up toward the stair, and then we're going to place down 2 of our polished deep slate walls here, and of course our blocks of netherite. So we have 2 blocks of netherite, and then we have our top slab of polished blackstone, and again we're going to alternate this pattern all the way down for top slabs in between. And on the back here, we're going to be going ahead and placing down that upside down stair. So it's going to be a little bit, it's going to be the same thing like we did before. And then again, our walls on the sides here, these blocks of netherite. And in between them, we're going to place down our fence gates. And lastly here, we're going to be going ahead and also placing down a wither skeleton skull on the side of this stair. So I did actually forget to do this for our first car, so we're going to go back up to the front. But there will be a wither skeleton skull on both sides there. And same thing on this car up here. So again, just make sure that's all good on both sides there. And then after we have that all finished there, we're going to go ahead and then take our spruce wood trapdoors, or go to our spruce wood trapdoors rather. And we're going to go ahead and grab our gray stained glass panes again. We're going to place down our gray stained glass panes on both sides there. And we're also going to go ahead and place down our levers on top of these 2 forward trapdoors. So that right there is going to basically complete what we have there for that. And that is going to be everything we need to have set up here. So again, that's going to be everything we have for the layer. Here's what it should look like again from the top-down view. For some reason, this right here is an end rod, which should actually be a fence gate there. But yeah, this right here is what it should look like for the top-down view for both those carts, all complete. And this right here is going to be the last time that both these cars are exactly the same. Our next few layers here are going to go ahead and start to show the differences between these. Yeah, that right there is going to do it for layer number 2 of our carts, and with that, let's move on to layer number 3. Alright guys, so moving into our next layer, we have layer 3. Layer 3 here is where we're going to start to see the first divides between the looks of the carts, so just make sure you're paying close attention to which cart you're working on. At this point in time, you really need to decide now which side you want the gun facing. This cart back here is going to be our rear cart. It's going to be the back here of the gun, so where we have this I guess storage for ammunition, and basically where the loading system is going to be, it's all going to be on this back side here. The front of the gun, so the direction the gun is going to be facing will be that way there. So this is kind of the point in time now where you need to decide which direction you want the gun facing and all that stuff. So make sure you go ahead and take the time now to make sure everything is good to go. Now, to go ahead and get started for this first cart, so this is going to be our forward cart, the forward facing of the gun. We're going to place down a polished black stone wall that's going to go on this second top slab right here, and we're going to go ahead and place down a dark oak with trapdoor coming off that off that wall coming off of it going forward. We're going to go ahead and also place down another trapdoor coming off both sides of this trapdoor, so you're going to create this design here for the front. We then want to go ahead and go back from this wall. We're going to place down a row of spruce wood trapdoors for a total of 7 trapdoors. So again, back from that wall we have 7. And then we have a deep slate tile slab, a block of netherite, and then another deep slate tile slab. We're going to go ahead and then place down a row of gray carpet on the rest of the slabs all the way to the end here for a total of 8. Our next row to the side, we're going to place down 3 gray carpets from the back here, and then a row of 1, 2, 3, 4 wither skeleton skulls, and then a gray carpet, a deep slate tile slab, a polished blackstone slab, and another deep slate tile slab. We're going to go ahead and place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 spruce wood trapdoors forward, and then out to the side here, we're going to go ahead and place down another row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 this time of spruce wood trapdoors, and then another polished blackstone slab here, a dark oak wood trapdoor after that, and then gray carpet again all the way along the side here to the back. Then we're going to place down gray carpet on top of this wither skeleton skull, and then going across the top of the walls, fence gates, and all that stuff, all the way until we get to this trapdoor. We're going to stop right there. We're going to place down a polished blackstone stair in this space here, and we actually do need to delete this other carpet, so it's going to be right here. And then we have a skeleton skull, wither skeleton skull on both sides of that. So this row of gray carpet is going to be a total of 8. Then we're going to take our spruce wood trapdoors. We're going to build a row of spruce wood trapdoors going forward. This here is going to be a total of 8, I believe, as well. Yep. And then for the sides here, we're just going to place down an end rod that's going to be on top of this polished blackstone wall. And that is going to complete everything we have there for that front cart. And we're going to go and then focus our attention here on the back one. So the back one is going to start off by going ahead and going to the front side here. We're going to go ahead and place down a gray carpet that's going to go on top of this slab here. So yeah, so it's going to sit right here on top of it like so. Now once we have that all done, we want to go ahead and then place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more carpet bags, so you have a total of 9. Then we have our deep slate tile slab, our block of netherite, another deep slate tile slab, and then we're going to have our carpet that goes back. This here is going to be a total of 8 as well. Then we're going to go ahead and go to the side. We're going to place down 1, 2, 3 gray carpet, 1, 2, 3, 4 wither skeleton skulls, another gray carpet, deep slate, block of netherite, deep slate, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 gray carpet forward. Then once we get to this point here, we're going to place down 2 polished blackstone stairs like this, and then 2 spruce trapdoors, another 2 polished blackstone stairs, another 2 spruce trapdoors, and then we're going to place down a dark oak wood trapdoor, followed by a polished blackstone slab, a dark oak wood trapdoor, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 gray carpet forward. After that's done, we're going to go ahead and place down a polished blackstone stair, come off this stair here, and then come off that slab there, and then a wither skeleton skull to both sides. On this section here, we're going to place down our gray carpet along the side there, and then going on this side, we're going to go ahead and do the same thing, but with spruce wood trapdoors. So it's going to go all the way forward like that. And that's basically all you need to do for that. So pretty straightforward stuff there. It's going to go ahead and get us set up for the rest of the build, kind of explained upon it, and that is how the back cart will look. Again, you'll take the same thing we do on the right side here and flip it over to the left side. And again, here is the top-down view looking down on it. As you can see, it's pretty much the same thing. One quick thing adjustment we're going to make here is I actually put 2 blocks. It's actually supposed to be just 1, and it should be 2 polished blackstone slabs. So just make sure that's good to go on the back cart there. But again, this is what it looks like from the top-down view. Again, that's our rear cart, and this is our forward one, and this is what we should have so far. Again, the differences aren't too major yet, but as we continue to build these carts up, they will become more and more different. So again, just make sure you're paying close attention to those differences. With that though, let's go ahead and move on to our next layer, layer number 4. Moving into our next layer, we have layer number 4. For layer 4 to start with, on our forward cart, we're going to go ahead and place down an end rod on top of these ones here on those walls, so on both sides there. And then on top of this trapdoor here, we're going to place down a chain that goes up like that. Then we're going to go ahead and place down a polished black stone upside down stair on top of this wall, and a wither skeleton skull coming off the front of the stair, and that's going to wrap up the front there. For the connection here, for the cart to the actual gun carriage, we're going to place down a block of netherite on top of this one from the previous layer. Then we're going to place down a polished black stone top slab on both sides, and then a row 3 of polished black stone, and then we're going to go ahead and place down a dark oak with trapdoor to both sides like that. So pretty simple, just like that. We have a row 3 of dark oak with trapdoors, and that's all we're going to do for the front cart, and everything else really will be basically for the gun section when we actually get to that. We do have a little bit more to do on that one, but that's going to finish it off for this layer. So just make sure both sides at this point in time are transferred over, and that's what you have for your design there. Going ahead and moving to our rear cart, we have a little bit more work to do here for this one. We're going to start off by going ahead and placing down a block of netherite on top of this one here, and then we're going to go ahead and place down a polished black stone top slab to both sides of this block of netherite. We're going to go then place down a row of 3 of polished black stone top slabs to the sides, and of course our row 3 of dark oak with trapdoors, just like we did for the front cart. Now when we get to this section here, the best thing to kind of do here is to go to this middle polished black stone top slab for this joint connection piece. We're going to go and skip a space, and then place down a dark oak with trapdoor like that. Then we're going to place down 6 polished black stone top slabs down the center here, and another dark oak with trapdoor on this side. We're going to do the same thing out to the side one more time, and it'll look like that. And then we want to go ahead and place down another polished black stone upside down stair here next to that trapdoor, and then we're going to place down a row of gray concrete, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gray concrete back, and another polished black stone upside down stair. After that is all done, we're going to take our dark oak trapdoors and just close them along the sides here, like that, along those gray concrete blocks. So it will look like that on both sides. And the very last thing here is also going to be the addition of a top slab coming off this stair up here on that more kind of middle section there of the car. So that's going to be everything you need to do there for this rear car here, and just make sure you transfer again the right side over to the left side. Anyways, though, that's going to do it for layer number 4 of our railway cars, and with that we'll be going ahead and moving into our next layer, which will be layer number 5. Moving into our next layer, we have layer number 5. For layer 5, the only things we have to do for the front car here are going to be the addition of a flower pot on top of this chain, then an end rod in the forward and back direction coming off this flower pot like so. We're going to go and then take our barrier blocks. We're going to place down a row of 3 of barrier blocks across. These barrier blocks are also known as structure blocks on Bedrock Edition. To get these, very simply, you just have to type the command /give at p barrier Minecraft barrier, or you can just type in barrier 2 and it'll give you this basically void block here. So we'll be using this block, and I don't know how you obtain them on Bedrock. I imagine they're probably in the inventory or using a command block, but you will have to get those for this section here. But we're going to be placing down a lever on both ends, and then underneath the barrier blocks on the bottom of them, we're going to be placing down 2 stone buttons on each end. So that's going to kind of create the railing there for the front of the rail car. That's all we need to do for the front. You'll make sure you do that to both sides, and that is going to complete the front rail car for the tutorial. Now moving to the back, we do have quite a bit left to do on this one, and we're going to go ahead and continue to build upon it. We're going to start off by going ahead and go into our middle dark oak wood trap door here. We're going to place down a gray concrete block on top of it, and we're going to go ahead and just place down a row of 6 of gray carpet going back, and another gray concrete block on this end. We're going to go ahead and place down 1 and 2 blocks out to the side here. Same thing up here, 1 and 2 blocks, and then we're going to go ahead and take our gray carpet, build 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then a gray block on both sides here, and then in that middle space we're going to place down a row of 4 of gray wool. We're going to go ahead and also place down 2 polished black stone walls to this side here, and also on this forward trapdoor we're going to place down a polished black stone wall as well. And then we're just going to place down polished black stone buttons on the side of these gray wool blocks. So it's going to look like that there. And that right there is going to be about it. Just try to make sure I'm not missing anything, and everything appears to be good to go for the back cart. So that is everything we need to do for that back car. And with that, the rest of this section for the carts is going to be directly focusing on building up this back section here for our second cart. So with that, we'll be going ahead and moving on to layer number 6. Moving into our next layer, we have layer number 6. For layer 6 to go ahead and get started with here, we want to go ahead and begin by placing down a gray concrete block on top of this one, and then 1, 2 out to the sides. Same thing on the back here on the middle block, and then 1 and 2 out to the sides. We're going to go ahead and then place down a gray concrete block like this going back, and another one right here, and then just another stack of gray wool on top of the ones from the previous layer. On this back side here, we're going to place down 2 dark oak wood trapdoors above those walls, and we're also going to place down a lever on this gray concrete block on both sides in the middle one, like that, facing upwards. Then on this side here, we're going to place down a lever like this to both sides here, also a lever there in the middle, and then a polished black stone wall on top of this one here to the sides. And that's all you need to do for layer number 6. Again, make sure that both sides get transferred over properly. And with that, we'll be going ahead and moving into layer number 7. Moving into our next layer, we have layer number 7. For layer 7 to start with, we're going to place down a gray concrete block on top of this lever here, and they're going to place down a second gray concrete block directly behind that. After we have that done, we want to go and then place down, or go back from that, and we're going to go to the center block on this side. We're going to place down a gray concrete block on top of that, and then 2 polished blackstone top slabs back, as well as a dark oak wood sign that's going to be on the side of this top slab on the back. After that's done, we're going to go ahead and place down a wither skeleton skull come off the side of this top slab, and then we're going to place down 2 gray concrete blocks forward to connect up there. We're going to go and then take our polished blackstone. We're going to build 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 polished blackstone top slabs, and then a gray concrete block and a polished deep slate tile wall. We're going to go ahead and place down a gray concrete block coming off this wall, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we're going to place down a polished blackstone top slab here, and then 1 out to the side. We then want to take our anvils. We're going to place down 2 anvils on the sides here, and we're going to go ahead and take our polished blackstone and build 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 top slabs going forward like that. Now, once that's all done, on the side of this top slab, we're going to either place down a wither skeleton skull, or if you're on Java, instead of the wither skeleton skull, I'm going to build a block out from that slab, leaving a space between the slab and this block. I'm going to place down a lever on the side of this block, and I'm going to use this tool called the debug stick. This can be obtained by typing the command /give @p Minecraft :debug _ stick. So this command here, press enter, will give you this glowing stick. We're going to left click the lever till we get selected facing, and we're going to go and then rotate this around facing like this so it comes off the side of that slab. So again, just kind of depends on what version you're working on, but that is what we're going to go ahead and do there for that. And that's going to be on both sides of that slab and for this build on the back here. Anyways though, that is going to wrap up everything we have there for layer number 7, and with that, let's move on to layer number 8. Going ahead and continuing on, we're going to go ahead and move on to layer 8. For layer 8, we're going to place down 2 spruce wood trapdoors on top of these 2 gray concrete blocks here in that middle section, and then also on top of these 2 blocks here for this section. I believe it's actually a gray concrete block and a polished blackstone top slab. We're going to go ahead and place down a gray concrete block here on the very back, and that's going to finish off our center line. Out to the sides, we're going to place down an end rod here, then another trapdoor, and then an end rod again, and then we're going to go ahead and place down a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 flower pots. And then to the side here, we're going to build 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 spruce wood trapdoors. After that, we're going to place down an end rod here, spruce wood trapdoor, end rod, then 1, 2, 3 spruce wood trapdoors, another end rod, another spruce wood trapdoor, another end rod, and then we're going to go ahead and place down another brick wall on top of this lever here to both sides. That right there is going to basically complete everything we have for that. You're going to go and take what we did on the right side, copy it over to the left side, and with that, we'll be going ahead and moving on to our next layer, layer number 9. Moving on to our next layer, we have layer number 9. For layer 9, to go ahead and get started with here, we're going to place down a polished blackstone wall on top of this one, and then we're going to place down a end rod on top of these 2 here. And then we're going to go and also place down end rods on top of basically the all remaining end rods around the sides there. And lastly, we're just going to place down another brick fence post on top of this one here. After that's all done, that is going to wrap up everything we have here for this layer. And at this point in time, we're going to be going ahead and moving into our last final layers for our railway cars. So with that, let's go ahead and move on to our final layers. And moving into our final layers here, we have layers 10 through 13. For these layers to start with, we're going to place down a gray concrete block on top of this wall here, and then a top slab coming off it going forward. We're also going to place down an item frame on both sides of this block, as well as a gray concrete block in the item frame. We're also going to place down a dark oak wood sign on the sides here of this block. Again, the sign and item frames are only going to be able to be placed if you're on Java. If you are not on Java, you'll have to just place down the item frame and disregard the sign. So after that slab is placed, we're going to go and then place down a lever like this, and then we want to place down a gray concrete block, and then a polished black stone top slab, again a wither skeleton skull to both sides of this block here. Then we're going to go ahead and go up with a polished black stone slab, continuing that angle going upwards, and then a polished black stone top slab coming off of that. So like that. On the side of this top slab and this half slab, we're going to place down dark oak wood fence gates to both sides of those blocks. And then we want to go ahead and place down one more polished black stone slab like so. And underneath that, we're going to be going ahead and grabbing ourselves some chains. So we will grab them here. And we're going to go ahead and place down a line of chains. So 1, 2, and 3 chains down like that. And that's going to create this crane. You don't have to have it go down with any chains at all, but I just chose to do it to make it look more like a crane. Once that's all done, we're going to go ahead and then grab ourselves barrier blocks, and we're going to go to the spaces above these, between these end rods, and we're just going to place down one barrier block between those spaces. Again, barrier blocks, structure blocks, whichever version you have, you're going to use those blocks corresponding to it. So again, we have those barrier blocks set up between those end rods, and we're just going to go ahead and place down a button on the bottom of them between the end rods like this. So just be like that, and the same thing will be done over here on this side as well. Now once that's all done, we're going to go ahead and go up from this nether brick fence post. We're going to go ahead and place down one more nether brick fence post on both sides, and then we're going to go ahead and then place down a end rod. And then on top of this end rod, you can either place down a wither skeleton skull. If you're on Java, however, we're going to go ahead and place down a lever. So we're going to place down a block that goes up from the end rod out to the side. And we then want to go ahead and place down a lever that's going to come off the side of this block. We're going to go ahead and left click this lever so it gets selected facing, or actually sorry, selected face, should say wall. We're going to right click this to floor, and we'll have it facing this way toward the middle. And the same thing will be done over here on this side as well. Again, for my Java players, the alternate is to use the wither skeleton skull. But that right there is going to complete everything we have for that back kind of, storage section, and that is going to wrap up everything we have for the actual carts that the gun is going to sit on. The rest of this tutorial is now going to be focused strictly on the carriage with the guns. So now that we have the actual the actual carts that it sits on completed and good to go, we can now move into our gun section. So we will be going ahead and now jumping into our gun section by going ahead and starting off with our first layer for the gun. At this point in time, again, make sure everything is good to go, everything is set up and proper. You may want to do some double checks with your counts, and just make sure maybe from the space between this top slab, this cart here. So we have that block there, this space here. Double check the count. We have 29 blocks between the very end of this cart and the very end of this cart. So just make sure that everything is lined up and good to go. Again, we still have that 33 space between our first axles on those cars. And again, just make sure everything is good to go and everything is proper. This is very important. It's easy to fix stuff at this stage rather than we start building the gun and things start to get messed up and not lined up. But anyways, this is what we should have so far for the gun, and we'll be moving on to our next section, which will be layer 1 of the gun build itself. Alright guys, so going ahead and moving into our first layer of our gun, we're going to be going ahead and starting off obviously with layer number 1 here. I do want to go ahead and real quickly apologize. I forgot to turn the shaders off for the first portion of the tutorial with the carts after taking a break and coming back to it and going over the footage. I was like, oh man, I completely forgot to do that. So I do apologize. Hopefully everything was easy for you to see and follow. I know sometimes it's a little hard for people with shaders to see exactly what's being built. So I do apologize in advance, and the rest of the tutorial, the shaders will be off. Anyways though, let's go ahead and jump into this. Now the first thing we're going to do for our first layer, it's pretty simple. We're going to be going ahead and just set up the base here of our cart. Now what we're going to do is we're going to be going ahead and go into our front cart, and this again is the cart without the box on it. We're going to go ahead and count from this top slab in the middle here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 blocks. And we're going to have a dark oak trapdoor. So again, we have 10 blocks of space and then our trapdoor. We're going to go ahead and count 2 blocks. And we're going to have a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 polished blackstone top slabs. We'll then count from our top slabs going to the back of this cart to make sure everything is lined up properly. This will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blocks. So again, just go ahead and take the time now, make sure everything is lined up properly. You should have 10 blocks, trapdoor, 2 blocks, then we have 8 of these polished blackstone top slabs, and then we have 8 yellow wool blocks here to finish off that, or our spacing. So again, very important throughout this tutorial, spacing. If you have this correct and set up, then you should be good to go for the rest of the tutorial, and I'll stop hounding on making sure everything is good to go. Anyways though, once we get to this point, we're going to go off this dark oak wood trapdoor here, and we're going to go ahead and place down a polished blackstone top slab here to the side. We're going to go ahead and go toward the forward cart with 2 top slabs, and then 1 top slab to the side, a second top slab back, and we're going to go ahead and follow this up with an upside down piston that's going to be sitting right here. If you don't have access to the debug stick or pistons, for this tutorial I'd probably recommend using polished blackstone stairs as an alternative. So I would go ahead and grab a stair, and I would place down an upside down stair in this spot instead. However, for Java we do have the debug stick, so we will be going ahead and using full block or pistons here. We're going to go ahead and go back from the piston 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks. We're going to place down another upside down piston or stair, and then 2 polished blackstone top slabs. Then on the inside here, we're going to go ahead and go back from this top slab with 1, 2, 3 gray concrete blocks. We're going to place down item frames on those gray concrete blocks, as well as gray concrete in the item frames, and then dark oak wood signs on the side there of those gray concrete blocks, like so if you're on Java. At this point in time, we can delete any of the blocks we placed to go ahead and count out our spacing and to space things out. So all these yellow wool blocks, I'm just going to go ahead and delete. And looking at it from the top-down view, this is what we should have for layer 1 of the gun, all complete. Again, really simple, straightforward stuff, and that's going to wrap that up there. Anyways, with that all done for layer 1, we'll be going ahead and moving into our next layer, which will be layer number 2. One thing I do want to go ahead and harp on real quick is that if you do have the pistons placed, I would recommend putting dark oak wood signs on the sides of the pistons. I think it just kind of helps blend it into the dark gray a little bit better than that lighter gray that the pistons have. Anyways though, that is going to conclude everything for layer 1. Let's move on to layer number 2. Moving into our next layer, we have layer number 2. Layer 2 to start with, we're going to go ahead and go to our row of polished blackstone top slabs. That row of 8 we placed in the previous layer, and we're going to place down a row of 8 of polished blackstone, of gray concrete on top of the row of polished blackstone top slabs. So we should have 8 gray concrete blocks. We're going to go ahead and place down 2 stone brick walls, and then another gray concrete block. This is going to have a dark oak wood trapdoor coming off the side of this gray concrete block, opposite from the walls. So just like that. After that's all done, we're going to go ahead and then go off the trapdoor. We're going to go ahead and skip a space. And the space here we're going to skip. We're going to go and count 1, 2, 3 blocks, and then we're going to place down an upside down piston. So it will look something like that. Then after we have that all done there, we want to go ahead and then place down an upside down piston that's going to come off this one. So just like that. And we're going to go ahead and then place down a polished deep slate top slab and a second top slab going forward from it. Then we're going to take our gray concrete. We're going to place down 2 gray concrete blocks back. Item frames on the side of these blocks here with gray concrete in those item frames, and then dark oak wood signs if you're on Java. And then we're going to place down a piston. Again, you can substitute this out for a polished blackstone stair like that, but again, we'll be using a piston for us. And then we're going to place down 2 gray concrete blocks back from that. On the side of this piston here on the inside, we're going to place down a dark oak wood sign. And then on the going after this gray concrete block here, we're going to go ahead and take our dark oak wood fence gates. We're going to build a row 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 of these fence gates back. We're going to go ahead and then place down a polished blackstone wall, a second wall, and that's going to finish this row here. Now on the sides of these 8 gray concrete blocks, we're going to place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 light gray stained glass panes, or I should say dark gray stained glass panes, and then a polished blackstone upside down stair. Going back from the polished blackstone, we're going to place down 2 gray concrete blocks, and then a polished blackstone upside down stair at the end of that row of gray concrete. And between the last 2 gray concrete blocks, we're also going to place down a polished blackstone wall in the middle space here. We're going to go ahead and also go up to this stone brick, or this gray concrete block here, and we're going to place down a stone brick wall to the sides there of it like so. Now once that's done, on this front side here, or the side that's closest to the forward cart, we're going to go ahead and go off this deep slate, this polished deep slate top slab. We're going to place down a polished blackstone top slab, one more forward. We're going to place down an upside down piston if you're on Java. If you're not on Java, you'll place down an upside down polished blackstone stair. And if you have the piston, we'll place a dark oak wood sign. We're going to go back from that with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 gray concrete. And then again, an upside down piston. or stair and a sign on the side of it, and 2 polished blackstone top slabs. And that's going to finish off what we have there for layer number 2 of the gun. Here again is a top-down view of what that should look like. So starting to come together. Again, we're going to work on a lot of the inner mechanisms and stuff like that are in the inside. But with that, that's it for layer 2, and we'll be moving on up to layer number 3. Moving into our next layer, we have layer number 3. For layer 3 to get started with here, we're going to go ahead and go to our row of 8 of gray concrete we have here from the previous layer. We're going to place down a row of 8 of polished blackstone slabs on top of that row, and then we're going to place down a dark oak wood trapdoor on top of this gray concrete block, and this one here to the side that the fence gates and stone brick walls connect up to. We're going to go ahead and then take our rails. We're going to place down 2 rails going forward from that piston there, and then we're going to go ahead and place down a polished blackstone top slab. To the side of this top slab, we're going to place down a gray concrete block, and above this middle piston, we're going to place down a polished blackstone top slab like that. After that's done, we're going to go ahead and then take our rails. We're going to place down a rail going forward again, and then we want to place down 2 polished deep slate slabs, and then we're going to place down 2 polished deep slate top slabs like that for some of these tracks that maneuver the gun and all that stuff. Then after that's done there, we're going to go ahead and go to this section here. We're going to go and go on top of this polished blackstone stair. We're going to place down a second stair, and then we're going to go forward with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gray concrete, and then a polished blackstone top slab, just like that. And that's going to go ahead and get us set up there. After that is all done, we want to go ahead and then go up here to this polished deep slate top slab. To the side of that, we're going to place down an upside down piston or upside down polished blackstone stair, again depending on your version. Then a dark oak wood sign on the side of it, and then 2 top slabs of polished blackstone forward. We're going to go and then take our gray concrete. We're going to go back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, and 27. I'm going to double check the count here for that, but it's going to be 27 blocks in total. We're going to go and then place down another upside down piston here. Then another 2 polished blackstone top slabs back, and again the piston. You can either have the stair or the piston, and then again we're going to have signs on the sides of the pistons. And also make sure you do it on the inside here. I forgot to do it for these previous layers, but anywhere you can, definitely try to put that sign on the inside there of those pistons, just to help kind of hide the lighter gray color a little bit more. Can the build, we can't do it there. Can't do it there, and we can't do it there. So you don't have to worry about the front ones, but those rear ones you can definitely go ahead and add those signs on the inside as well. Anyways though, that is going to wrap up everything we have there for layer number 3. Here's what it looks like from the top down view. As you can see, mainly just the mechanisms on the inside there and a little bit of the siding. Our next layer here is going to connect the gun up actually to our carts, so that would be fun to actually have that finally connected up. But with that, let's go ahead and move on to layer number 4. Alright guys, so moving into our next layer, we have layer 4. Layer 4 here is going to be a pretty big layer, as we do have quite a bit of structure we'll be going ahead and doing here. It's not too difficult by any means, but we do have quite a bit, so just be prepared for that. Now the first thing we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to be going ahead and going to this platform we created here at the very front on the start of these cards, or these again, these cars that the gun sits on. And we're going to go to this middle top slab here. We're going to place down a gray wool block. We're going to have a tripwire hook coming off that gray wool block. Behind that, we're going to place down 2 gray concrete blocks and then 2 polished blackstone slabs for the time being. We're going to go ahead and go to the sides of the gray wool and concrete with another row of 3 of gray concrete, then a second row of 3 out to the side as well, and then we're going to place down a third row. Now to the side here of this block, we're going to place down a dark oak wood fence gate, and we're going to go ahead and place down a dark oak wood sign to both sides of it. If you're on Java, we're going to go ahead and build a space out from that fence gate. We're going to place down a block, a ladder on the side of that block, and then we're going to use our debug stick here to rotate this around by left clicking the fence gate, or the ladder till we get selected facing, and we'll rotate it around till it connects up to that like that. And we'll be doing that on both sides. An alternative to this, if you don't have access to the debug stick, is to go ahead and use your use a barrier block or a structure block, and then placing down signs on the 2 sides, and then a ladder there in the middle. We're also going to go ahead and drop down from this fence gate with another barrier block, and this will be on both sides, and we're going to go ahead and place down 1 more ladder so it comes down just 1 more there, and that's going to be for this forward side only. Now after that's done, we're going to go ahead and take our gray concrete, and we're going to go ahead and go back from this. We're going to go ahead and go back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, and 47, and 48. I'm going to go and double check the count here of this to make sure that's all correct. And it is going to be 48 blocks. So again, this block here being the first one, and this all the way back here, it's going to be 48 blocks. And again, it should be in line here with the last row of 3 polished blackstone top slabs from that platform we set up previously. We're going to go ahead and take our gray concrete. We're going to build 1 and 2 rows of gray concrete, and then we have our middle row here. Again, going to be a row of 3 like that. We're going to go ahead and then skip a space off this row of 3 of gray concrete in the middle. We're going to place down a polished blackstone slab, skip a space again, polished blackstone slab, skip 2 spaces, and another slab, so it will look like that. And then along the sides here, we're going to place down a row of polished blackstone slabs. That's going to be a total of 7. And then taking our gray concrete, where we have these slabs in the middle, we're going to place down a gray concrete block on this side. So it's going to look like this there, like that on the back there for that bracing and that support. Now going back up to the front here of the gun, we're going to go ahead and place down a polished blackstone slab, or slab that's going to come off those 2 slabs there in the middle. So we're going to go back at an angle like this with 2 slabs. And then along the side here, we're going to go ahead and go back again at an angle, place down 1, 2, 3 slabs back, and then row 3 across the middle here, 1, 2, 3, and that'll bring us to the other side there. Then we're going to place down 2 rails on top of these 2 top slabs here, then a gray concrete block on top of this top slab with a upside down polished blackstone stair to the sides, and their gray concrete block, so it'll look like that. Once we have that done, we're going to go ahead and then place down a polished blackstone stair on top of this top slab here, and then we're going to go ahead and go forward with 2 gray concrete blocks, and then a polished blackstone top slab. We're going to go ahead and go between the gray concrete blocks. We're going to place down 2 polished blackstone top slabs, and then go back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so you have a total of 9 here of top slabs. After we have that done, we're going to go and skip a space from the stair, place down another stair, skip a space, place down another stair, just like that. And after that's all done there, that is going to create the inside kind of guts there that we have to have set up and ready to go. So that's all finished off with that, and that is all we need to worry about for the inside here for this layer. Now, once we have that all done, we do have a few more things to add on real quick, and I'm going to go ahead and grab those real quick, and we'll get situated with the rest of this layer. Alright guys, so the last final things we really need to do to finish off this layer are going to be really straightforward and simple things. The first one is going to add a ladder to this back section here, and this is going to be on this gray concrete block right before you have this kind of segment right here. Is going to be this gray concrete block. We're going to go ahead and place down a fence gate that's going to come off it to the side. We're going to open that fence gate toward this block, and then we're going to place down a dark oak wood sign on this side of the fence gate, and then we want to place down 2 birch wood buttons going on this side of it. So like that. And just like we did before for my Java players, we're going to place down a block of a space from the fence gate just like so, and then we're going to go ahead and place down a ladder on the side of this block, and then use our debug stick to rotate around. You can also use a barrier block here instead of the fence gate. That would also work and be fine, and you can just have the sign on the one side here like that. We're going to then drop down another barrier block from this one, or from the I should say the fence gate, and as you can see I accidentally just destroyed that, so I need to fix that real quick, but luckily very easy fix. So just like that, and again we'll have our trapdoor opened up like that and like that. So that's the one downside there, is you just gotta watch out, make sure you don't open or close those fence gates. And then we're gonna place down a ladder underneath that on that other barrier block, so it's gonna look like that there for that ladder there. And if it's in like a firing position and stopped, you could also extend this down further if you want to, like this, to allow you to actually get up on the gun and stuff like that from down below here. But again, I'll leave that up to you guys. In kind of a transit mode, it's more located up here. It's one of those extendable ladders. Now, after we have that done, we're going to go ahead and then skip a space of 2. So 1, 2, and then we're going to place down 3 more birchwood buttons along the side there. So really simple stuff, and that's going to add on there. And the very last thing we need to do is we need to go ahead and go to our middle section. And this is going to be this section here. We want to go ahead and find that middle block. So this is a row of 7. We're going to go ahead and go to that 4th block in the center. We're going to place down a lever, and then on top of that lever, we want to place down a chain. So 1 and 2 chains going up, and then we're going to place down a lever here, and have the flick downwards like that to connect up to it. And that will be on both sides there like that. And once you have that all done there, that is going to wrap up everything we have. We're all caught up here, not missing anything. So again, my apologies for being a little behind there. I'm missing those little side details, but it does happen. And if you're also at this point here and you're on Java, we can go ahead and also take our debug stick, left click the piston so we get selected extended false, and then right click these, set these to true, and we can actually go ahead and get rid of that wood portion of the pistons. And we'll go ahead and do this for the gondola so far. Just be advised, if you do break any blocks or place any blocks in this right next to these pistons, basically hitboxes, it will cause the piston to revert back. So just be careful in placing them and make sure you're careful and don't trigger pistons. With that though, that's going to complete everything we have for this layer. Here again is a top-down view of what it looks like. We also have these pistons here on the inside. We'll go ahead and take care of real quick as well. But here's a top-down view of what it looks like. We have the kind of main outline now set up, and things are going well. That is going to conclude everything we have for layer 4, and we'll be moving on to layer number 5. Moving into our next layer of the build, we have layer number 5. For layer 5 to get started with, here on our front, we're going to place down a gray wool block on top of this one, and then we're going to place down 2 gray concrete blocks back from it. We're going to go and then go out to the sides, 1, 2, 3 gray concrete, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, just like we did before. We're going to place down a barrier block on top of this fence gate, and then a ladder coming off that barrier block like so. And then along the sides here, we're going to go ahead and build back 1, 2, 3, 4 gray wool, and then we're going to go ahead and place down, gray concrete, and then we're going to place down an anvil. Now on the inside here of the build, we're also going to go ahead and grab ourselves a gray banner, and we're going to place down a gray banner here on the sides of these anvils, so just like that. And also on this second block from the anvil, we're going to place down a dark oak trapdoor closed on the side there of the gun as well. Now after we have that done, we're going to go ahead and then take our gray concrete, and we're going to build back 5 more blocks, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And on these last 3 blocks we just placed, we're going to place down a row of birchwood buttons, so 1, 2, 3. Then just taking our gray concrete, we're going to go ahead and build a row back, so we're going to go ahead and just build this all the way along the sides here until we get to the very last block on the back here. So just like this, and until we get to this block here. Then again, we're going to fill in the space in the middle here with rows of 3 of gray concrete all the way across until we get to the other side. Now, like we did before, we're going to kind of mimic this structure that we set up previously, the skeleton. So we're going to go and go to this section here and build 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 polished blackstone top slabs. On the second top slab, you're going to place down 1 in the middle. On the 4th one and 1 in the middle, and on the 7th one in the middle as well. We're also going to place down a gray concrete block on top of this one here, or on top of those ones like that, alternating along the side there. After that's all done, we're going to go ahead and place down a barrier block here, and then a ladder coming off the barrier block, and same thing over here on this side. Obviously, it'll be done once you get around to that. Now, once that's all finished there, we're going to go ahead and then focus our attention here to the inside. We're going to go ahead and start off by going ahead and taking our gray concrete. We're going to place down a gray concrete block on top of this polished blackstone top slab right here on the end, and then we're going to build 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 forward. So again, just double check here. It's going to be a total of 9 gray concrete blocks. On the very end here of that row, so facing toward the rear of the gun, we're going to place down a polished blackstone wall, a dark oak wood fence gate, and then we're going to go ahead and place down a polished blackstone upside stair, a wither skeleton skull coming off the fence gate, and an air stair, or another wither skeleton skull coming off that one like that. We're going to go ahead and go forward with this, or from this, with a light gray, normal gray stained glass pane, polished blackstone wall, stained glass, wall, stained glass, wall, and 2 more glass panes. We then want to place down a polished blackstone slab, 2 gray concrete, and a polished blackstone top slab like that to go ahead and finish it off. Once that's all done, we're going to take our gray concrete, we're going to place down a row of 3 across the stair and the block there in the middle, across this section here, and then an air slab to the sides there. And then after that is all done there, that is going to wrap up what we have there for the main structure of this layer. Now, the last thing we have really to talk about here is going to be the lettering of the gun. Now, I'm not going to show you guys how to make each one of these letters in a banner or in the loom, but you guys can look up plenty of tutorials on how to make them, or some of you may know how to make these letter banners already on hand. Basically, the name of this gun is Leopold. You can change the name to any of the other names the gun was known by, Robert, or I think those are the 2 main guns of names that are known. But again, you can change it to the names, different names if you want to, and they would just be written on the side of the basically the gun case main, really. So basically, all we have here is the LEOPLD is what you're going to need, and to spell it out, it's LEOPOLD. So to go ahead and do this, you'll have these banners, and all you'll need to do now is to go ahead and basically center your P on this lever, and on the left side of the carriage, so this side here, we have it reading left to right, so we have LEO, then we have our P, and then OLD. On the other side here, it's going to read left to right, so we're going to have our P in the middle. Then we have our LEO, and then OLD. So we have Leopold on both sides there, like that. So again, just go ahead and take the time now to go ahead and do those banners. There's something that not really needed, but I think add a really good amount of detail to this build. And again, we're using gray banners with white lettering. So something I feel is really nice to have to kind of give a little bit more character to these guns. And if you have a couple of these guns, you could go ahead and name them different names. You don't have to do Leopold or Robert, but those are actual real guns that were used during World War II, real names. So that's why they are, why it's named that. Anyways, though, that is going to conclude what we have there for layer number 5. And with that, let's go ahead and jump up to layer number 6. Moving into our next layer, we have layer number 6. Layer 6 here is going to be one of those last layers before we actually start to get into doing the top details here and actually start to get into our guns. So we are definitely getting closer and closer to finishing this build off. But to begin with, we're going to go ahead and place down a gray concrete block on top of this gray wool. And we're going to go ahead and build a row back from the gray concrete, a total of 12. So this is going to be overall 13 blocks long. We're going to build a second row to the side of it, just like this, and then a third row, and then we're going to build another row. So just like this all the way to the side. The only difference here is actually we're going to have an anvil on top of this one, so just make sure that gets transferred over. Now after that's all done, we're going to go and take our gray concrete. We're going to go back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 blocks, and then we're going to place down 1, 2, 3, 4 white concrete. And continue on with our gray concrete. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21 ending right here. We're going to go then and place down another row of gray concrete on the inside here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. And we're going to place down a dark oak trapdoor on the side here. We then want to place down a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 of these polished deep slate walls. And then we're going to place down a row of gray concrete that's going to go down the center here, filling that space in. And again, we're going to have dark oak trapdoors on the sides here. So it will look like this here on the back. And as you'll see, it will connect up directly with this kind of cart system, and all the track and everything like that will be lined up with it. Now, also, in addition, we're going to go ahead and place down a dark oak wood fence gate that's going to go here on this block. We're going to open this fence gate here, and just like we've done before, we're going to place down a dark oak wood sign to both sides here. And for my Java players, again, we're going to place down a block to the side, a ladder, and rotate this around to connect up to that fence gate. Again, you can use a barrier block with just signs on both sides as an alternative to the fence gate. After that's all done, we're going to go and grab ourselves some levers here and also some birchwood buttons. And we need to set up our mounts here for what will be the railings that run along the side of the gun. We're going to place down a lever here, skip 2 spaces, lever, and we're just going to continue this pattern all the way down, skipping 2 spaces and adding a lever. You will have to delete this one sign here to place that lever, so make sure you go ahead and do that. So again, skip 2 blocks, lever, and we're going to go and stop here at this section. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 levers on this back section. And that's all we're going to do for this section here. We're going to skip ahead to the white concrete, and we're going to go ahead and go to the second block forward from the white concrete. We're going to place down a lever again, and again we're going to alternate every 2 blocks, or every 3 blocks I should say. So 1, 2, 3, we're going to do a lever. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and that'll bring us up to the front there. The front, we're going to do a fence gate again right here, and again a dark oak wood sign. Again, you can substitute the fence gate for a barrier block, and we'll use the same technique we've been doing to go ahead and place our ladder there on the side. Also, going back to this midsection here, we're going to place down a button here of birchwood, and then 2 more buttons in between these levers, and you'll make sure that gets translated to both sides. After that's all done, though, that is going to wrap up everything we have for the outside perimeter, and let's go ahead and move to the inside. The inside, we're going to place down a gray concrete block that's going to go on top of this one, so the block right before that wall there. And we're going to build 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 walls, or full blocks forward, and then 2 polished blackstone walls. Right here next to this slab, we're going to place down a polished blackstone wall, and then we want to go ahead and place down an item frame that's going to be coming off the side of that wall with a gray concrete block in the item frame, and if you're on Java, we'll add a dark oak wood sign as well. Behind that, we're going to take our gray concrete, we're going to build 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks, and then a dark oak wood trapdoor on every other block like that along the side. We're going to go then place down a end rod in this spot here, and then a polished blackstone stair after the end rod. Going forward from this, on top of this polished blackstone slab, we're going to place down a, which actually should be another polished blackstone slab. So another polished blackstone slab on top of that, and then 2 gray concrete. Actually, we're just going to make this 3 blocks. So we're going to place down a block here on top of that slab, and we're going to go ahead and go 2 blocks forward, so you have a total of 3 there. And then we're just going to place down a top slab on the very front there, like that. After that's all done there, that is going to wrap up everything we have for this layer, and that is going to conclude what we have for basically the base of the base of the carriage. At this point, we're going to be going ahead and now we're moving up into the top details and really starting to actually get the gun built. So pretty exciting stuff here coming up, but that again is going to conclude what we have for this layer. With that, we'll be going ahead and moving on to our next layer, which will be layer number 7. Alright guys, so moving into our next layer, we have layer number 7. For layer 7 to go ahead and get started with here, we're going to be going ahead and taking end rods, and on every single one of these levers on the outside here, we're just going to go ahead and place down a end rod on top of them. So pretty simple stuff, a little bit time consuming. The most annoying part really of this build is going to be these railings along the sides, but then again, they're not really too bad. So that's just going to run along the sides there like that. After that's done, we want to go ahead and then take gray carpet, and we're going to build a row of gray carpet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 gray carpet. And then we're going to go ahead and place down 3 dark oak wood trapdoors. We're going to go ahead and then place down 3 daylight detectors, which will turn to that night mode, like that. And then we're going to place down 4 polished blackstone slabs. Now for me on Java, I'm going to go ahead and place down it should be 4 polished blackstone slabs. Me on Java, I'm going to go ahead and place down 3 pistons. If you're non-Java, I'd recommend going ahead and just using gray concrete instead of the pistons. So again, Java players use the pistons. If you're non-Java, don't use the pistons and use gray concrete blocks. We're going to go ahead and build 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 gray concrete. Then 1, 2, 3 pistons, 2 polished blackstone slabs, and then 2 daylight detectors turned to night mode, 2 dark oak wood trapdoors, and then we're going to place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 gray carpet. After that is all done there, we're going to go ahead and go back up to our front, and we're going to go and start working our ways, filling in the insides here. So from our first block, we're going to go ahead and go back to the second one here. We're going to place down a polished blackstone wall, and then a polished blackstone, or actually rather we'll just place down a gray concrete block to both sides. Then a daylight detector turned to night mode. We're going to go and skip a space and place down a row of 5 of daylight detectors across. Then a row of 3 with a wither skeleton skull on both sides. A row of 5 again of daylight detectors turned to that night mode. Then a daylight detector in the middle, again that night mode, gray concrete, and then another wither skeleton skull here to the side. We're going to place down another daylight detector in the center, turned to night mode, then a polished blackstone stair, and a daylight detector to the side of that. Then another daylight detector in the center, polished blackstone slab, and a wither skeleton skull. A row of 5 of daylight detectors across this space here. Then a row of 3 of daylight detectors, wither skeleton skull on both ends. And then lastly, one more row of 5 going all the way across there, like that. And that's going to go ahead and set up that midsection there in the front. Now when it comes to the actual gun section itself, we're going to go ahead and place down a gray concrete block on top of this one here. Then 2 polished blackstone top slabs going back. Going forward from this gray concrete block, we're going to place down an additional row of gray concrete. This is going to be a total of 6. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 polished blackstone top slabs forward from that. We're going to go ahead and also place down an upside down polished blackstone stair here on both sides of this gray concrete block. Then we're going to skip a space from that stair, place down a polished black stone wall, gray stained glass, polished black stone wall, gray stained glass, and another polished black stone wall. After we have that all done, we're going to go ahead and then skip ahead to the polished black stone top slab here. So it's going to be that 6th one. We're going to place down a gray concrete block on both sides of that top slab. And then again, we're going to go ahead and build 1, 2, 3. And on your 4 and 5. So we have a total of 11 polished blackstone top slabs. And again, we have gray concrete on both sides of that 6th one. And then on the 11th and 10th one, we're going to go ahead and place down gray concrete to the sides of those. Then we just want to place down a polished blackstone top slab here and a piston upside down in this space like that. So that right there is going to include everything we have for that gun section there in the middle. And that's going to be part of the actual gun. Now after that, we're going to go ahead and move back to this section here. And for this section, we're going to take flower pots. And we're going to place down flower pots all the way along the tops of these walls. Now if you do want to build a little cart here that I have with the shells on it, we will be going ahead and putting that on as well. You'll have to pick the location you want for it, but we're going to go ahead and place down 2 of these blocks of netherite. They're just going to go ahead and sit on the walls with a space in between them. So they're just going to be kind of intertangled there with those flower pots. And you'll have that set up there, and we'll build upon that a little bit later. But again, you can move this cart anywhere along the where the flower pots are. So you have some flexibility on where you put it and how you put it, which is pretty cool. So after that is all finished up there, we have one quick thing we're going to go ahead and also add, and that's going to be on the side over here. We're going to place down a polished blackstone wall here. So it's going to be here. It's going to be on the left side only, and only on the left side. That's going to be the only difference throughout this entire build. Is going to be that wall there, and we have a little instrument located here. So we're going to leave that as is for right now. Now after that is all done, we want to go ahead and then grab our signs and our levers. And if you're on Java and you have the pistons, we're going to place down 2 signs on these first 2 pistons, but we're going to go ahead and then place down a lever. So for everybody, we'll have a lever on this block here. We're going to go ahead and again go 1, 2, 3, lever, 1, 2, 3, lever, and then we have 1, 2, 3, lever again. You do have this space of 1 that's going to be in between the middle levers there, or the middle, that's going to be the exact center there of that gun carriage. So just like that. And then you're going to have that's the only place you're going to have that space of 1. So we're going to have those levers set up there and good to go. We'll be expanding upon that a little bit later. And that's going to pretty much wrap up what we have here. Just trying to make sure I'm not missing anything. Everything appears to be good. I believe at this time also for my Java players, we can take our debug stick and just right click these pistons just like we did before to go ahead and get rid of that wood portion. We should be fine to go ahead and do that. So we'll go ahead and do that like so. But anyways, structure wise, this is what we should have so far for the gun. One thing to mention real quick for the pistons before you go ahead and start debug sticking them is that we also want to go ahead and include the signs on the inside here. So just make sure you go ahead and include those like that. Again, real simple. And just kind of, creates a better blend of colors here, I think. And over here on this side as well. And then we'll be done. So that right there is going to complete what we have for this layer. And once that's all complete, that's all we need to do to have everything done there for that. Make sure you don't mess with this piston yet. We will be going ahead and putting blocks on top of it, so it will have to change. But anyways, that is going to conclude everything we have for layer number 7 of the build. And with that, we'll be going ahead and moving on to layer number 8. Moving into our next layer, we have layer 8. Layer 8 here is going to be the first layer we actually get to see some of the gun being built. So pretty exciting stuff, but it also means we are getting pretty close to being near the end of this build. So also very exciting for my voice especially. Anyways, let's go ahead and jump into this. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go to the top of this polished blackstone top slab. We're going to place down a gray concrete block. We're going to go forward from that gray concrete block with a long row of gray concrete for a total of 27. If we count the first block we placed, it would be 28 blocks. And it should end on top of this third daylight detector here. We're going to go ahead and take pistons. We're going to place down an upside down row of pistons going all the way along this section here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pistons. I'd recommend instead of pistons to be going ahead and using polished blackstone top slabs instead as an alternative. But I think pistons are the better go here. I think it creates a better flow. We're going to go ahead and place down a gray concrete block. And on both sides of this gray concrete block, we are going to place down a polished blackstone wall. And then we're going to place down a polished black stone top slab, and then we're going to go ahead and take our dark oak with trapdoors, and we're going to place down a row of trapdoors forward for a total of 17. After that's all done, if you did place the pistons, so again, this is going to be only if you place the pistons. If you did do the pistons, we're going to place down wither skeleton skulls along the sides of the pistons. If you have the slabs there, I would not recommend putting the wither skeleton skulls. Then we're going to go ahead and take our stairs, polished blackstone, and we're going to build 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 polished blackstone stairs. And then we're going to go ahead and take our gray concrete, and we're going to build 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Actually, sorry, one less. Should be 17. Let me double check my count here. It is going to be 17. And then we're going to place down a polished blackstone upside down stair here. And then 1, 2, 3 gray concrete blocks back after that. Once we have that all done, we want to go ahead and place down 1, 2, 3 polished blackstone top slabs here to the side. And we're going to go ahead and place down a polished blackstone upside down stair. And we're going to follow this up by going ahead and placing down a polished blackstone wall to both sides of this stair with a stair like this to the sides there. So it's going to look like that there. After we have that done, that's going to set up the main structure here for our gun. And for a little bit of detailing, we're going to go ahead and go to the second gray concrete from this this top slab here. We're going to place down a lever here. We're going to skip 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, your 6th block, another lever. And then we have 7, 8, 9, another lever right here. And also one thing I forgot to include is we do actually want to have a polished blackstone slab on top of this top slab here. So just make sure that gets added to both sides there. And also, looks like another thing I forgot. So missing a few things here, but luckily they're just minor little details. Is we're going to have an item frame on the side of this block with a gray concrete block in the item frame and a dark oak wood sign on the side there if you're on Java. So just make sure that gets added on to the bottom there. And then also for my Java players, we can right click that piston there on the bottom now at this point in time. Now with that done, that's kind of the main structure for our gun here. And for the railings, we're going to go ahead and expand upon these. We're going to place down levers, or actually rather, sorry, end rods on top of these ones, going all the way down the side here. So again, just kind of building off of those. And we're also going to place down our first end rods on top of these levers here along the side. So again, just a time-consuming task, but a necessary task nonetheless. And that's going to go all the way along the side there of the gun, like so. Now, once we get to this rear section back here, we're going to go ahead and go to this section here where we have this wall set up. We're going to go ahead and go forward from the wall on top of this polished blackstone slab. We're going to have a fence gate and a second fence gate, so we're going to have 2 fence gates connected to each other. We're going to go ahead and place down 2 dark oak wood trapdoors, and then another 2 trapdoors coming off those like that. We're also going to go ahead and place down a dark oak wood fence post that's going to go on top of this wall here, and this is going to create this mechanism that would, swing across, and it would be basically used as like a cradle to help guide the ammunition or the shells into the actual thing itself. So that is going to be that right there. And then for the cart itself, really simple stuff. Wherever you have it placed on top of the blocks on the other right, we're going to place down a polished blackstone upside down stair on both sides there, and then 2 polished blackstone top slabs across in between. We're also going to place down polished blackstone buttons on the sides of these other right blocks, which I forgot to do. And we have our row 4 of dark oak trapdoors across in the middle there to fill that space in. And that's going to be it for the cart there. And again, we'll expand upon that a little bit further in the next layer. Anyways, though, that's going to wrap up everything we have here for this layer. Just trying to make sure I'm not forgetting anything and everything appears to be good to go. Actually, one last thing here is going to be a light gray stainless paint on both sides of this first gray concrete block here in the front. So other than that, though, that's going to wrap up everything we have for layer number 8 of the build. And as you can see, we are getting pretty close to having this thing done. So that is it for layer 8, and we'll be moving on to layer number 9. Moving into our next layer, we have layer number 9. For layer 9 here, to go ahead and get started with here, we're going to go ahead and place down a polished blackstone, a gray concrete block on top of this middle block here in the back, and we're going to go ahead and then place down a polished blackstone wall here on the very back. On the left side of the wall, and the left side only, we're going to have a wither skeleton skull. So it's going to look something like looks like that. Going forward from the wall, we're going to have our gray concrete. So we already have 1 block, but this is going to go forward a long row all the way to the front here for a total of 52, ending on top of that 3rd from the front trapdoor. So it's going to end on this trapdoor, and then we're going to place down a black concrete block, and that's going to bring us to just having 1 trapdoor on the front here for your gun. We're going to go then place down a dark oak wood trapdoor on the side of the black concrete, and also a trapdoor kind of on the side here of this space as well. We're We're going to go ahead and then take our trapdoors, and we're going to go ahead and build this all the way along the side of those gray concrete blocks, going ahead and closing them up as we go. Now we are going to go ahead and stop after we get to a certain amount here, and I believe this is a total of 16. We're going to go ahead and stop after 16 trapdoors. So again, from the front there, back to this section, 16 trapdoors, and then we're going to go ahead and place down 1, 2, 3 light gray stained glass panes. Now if you're on Java, we're going to go ahead and place down a line of 7 pistons sideways. If you are not on Java, I'd recommend going ahead and just extending your gray stained glass panes all the way down as well. So something like that. We're going to go then take our gray concrete. We're going to build back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, and 28 gray concrete blocks back. Once we get to this point, we're going to go ahead and place down 1, 2, 3 gray stained glass panes, and then we're going to place down a dark oak trapdoor sideways like this, and then 1, 2, 3 gray concrete blocks forward from that trapdoor. We're going to go then take our gray stained glass panes. We're going to build 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 gray stained glass panes, a polished black stone wall, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dark oak wood trapdoors closed along the side there. So again, this is what your gun should look like for the most part, and depending on the changes you make, depending on your version. So that's going to do it for that. And then going back to this section here, we're going to place down a gray concrete block on top of this and a polished black stone stair to both sides of that. Once that's all done, we want to go ahead and then grab ourselves some barrier blocks, and we're going to go ahead and also grab some levers. We're going to place down, or actually some end rods, and on top of these end rods that are just one, we're going to go ahead and build another end rod on top of them, just like this, and it's going to basically just build upon those and make sure that those are up to level, or to 2 levels. And then we want to start off on this very last end rod, and we're going to go ahead and place down a row of barrier blocks all the way along the side here. So all the way along the side, and we're going to go ahead and stop once we get to this end rod here, and then once we get to this side where we have our end rods, so starting right here, this last one that's a little bit higher, we're going to go ahead and continue that row all the way along the side here, all the way to the front. And then at this point, we just need to go ahead and take our buttons, and we're going to place down buttons underneath here. So 1, 2, 1, 2, and so on, so forth, all the way along the side here. Now once we get to this section here, where we actually have the increase, we're going to go ahead and stop at this first row here. We're going to actually build we're going to put 4 buttons on the side there of those barrier blocks. And then going back here to this section here, we're going to place down 1 and 2 right here, and then again we're just going to go and drop down to the bottoms and place down buttons along the bottom. So just like that on the side there, and that's what it should look like for your railings along the sides of the gun. So pretty straightforward and simple there. And then the very last thing here is going to be the weapons cart. So the weapons cart here, again, we have basically a row of flower pots on top of those trapdoors, and then for the shells themselves, and you can use this shell design for transports or trucks near it that are resupplying the gun. We're going to place down 2 of these blocks of copper, a jungle trapdoor on the back here, a andesite full block, a stone brick wall, and a skeleton skull there to go ahead and create the shell. So pretty simple stuff. That's going to be the shell design there, and you have one on both sides to kind of show the card. So pretty simple stuff. That right there is going to wrap up what we have for layer number 9 of the build, and with that we'll be going ahead and jumping up into layer number 10. Moving into our next layer, we have layer number 10. For layer 10, to go ahead and get started with here, we're going to place down a dark oak trapdoor on top of this black concrete block and a second trapdoor forward from it. We're going to go ahead and take our trapdoors, and we're going to go ahead and go back a total of 15 from those. So you're going to have a total of 17 trapdoors across the top here. We're going to place down 2 polished black stone slabs, and then we're going to place down a row of pistons. Again, we're going to have a row of 7 of pistons. If you're not on Java, I'd recommend going ahead and placing down a row of 7 of slabs instead. Then taking our gray concrete, we're going to build a row of gray concrete down the center here of the gun. Going to be a total of 28 blocks. And then going to the sides of those, we're going to place down 3 gray concrete blocks, then a polished black stone stair, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 gray concrete, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 polished blackstone with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wither skeleton skulls. And again, if you have the slabs, don't put the wither skeleton skulls. After that's done, we're going to go ahead and then place down levers. They're going to be above these ones, so these ones back from layer number 8. We're going to have our levers above these like this, and we're going to have these flick downwards like that to connect up like that along the sides. Then also this section here, we're going to place down 1, 2, 3 polished blackstone slabs, and then another slab like that. And then on the back here, that's pretty much all we have for that, and that's actually it here for this layer. At this point in time, also, if you are on Java, I'd recommend going ahead and taking your debug stick here and going ahead and setting your pistons up. So going ahead and getting rid of that wood portion along the tops and bottoms, and on the sides, and you'll get a good look here at the actual shape of your gun barrel. So it will be looking something just like that. And anyways, that is going to conclude everything we have for layer number 10 of the gun, and with that we'll be going ahead and jumping into our last final layer, which should be layer number 11. Moving into our last final layer here for the gun, we have layer number 11. For layer 11 to start with, we're going to place down a row of dark oak trapdoors. This here is going to be a total of 7. We're going to go ahead and place down a piston here, and then we're going to place down a row of polished blackstone slabs back for a total of 13. Another piston, another slab, another piston, then a dark oak trapdoor, and then 3 more slabs back. The pistons, I would use an alternative of probably just placing down another slab. Honestly, I wouldn't recommend doing a full block, though you could do a full block, but I think it would just stick a little too tall for what we're trying to create. Now, once that's done, on the sides of the piston, we're going to go ahead and place down a polished blackstone slab. And then we also want to go ahead and place down a lever on the gray concrete blocks that have the levers already set up from the previous layers. So those are just going to kind of wrap around all the way. We'll then take our debug stick for my Java players, and we'll just right click the pistons like so to go ahead and get rid of that wood portion. And with that all done, that's going to wrap up my tutorial here for the Krupp K5E Leopold railway gun. Hope you guys do enjoy this build and are able to put it to good use. If you do end up using this build, I do ask you guys give me credit for it. This can be anything from a sign on the build to my channel or this video, as long as you guys give me proper credit for it. You're free to use it for projects you guys are working on. My voice will greatly appreciate it, as my voice is completely dead after recording this. As you can probably tell, I'm a little raspy. So I recorded most of this all in one segment, and as of right now, it's basically almost 2 hours of recording with a little break between the carriage cars and the gun itself. But anyways, I really hope you guys enjoyed this build and all that. If you guys haven't already, please take a look at some of my other videos, and obviously don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This has been here at 2x4, and I will see you guys next time.